Good evening, everybody. TJ here for Bash on the Buttons. A little impromptu episode. I didn't promote it because I didn't know I was going to do it. But we're here. It's a Thursday, January 15th. I'm just coming in to say hello. A little bit of a surprise here is if you watch the show regularly, you know, we're doing WWE WrestleMania X8 for Nintendo GameCube. We've done 2 weeks tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here where you're watching this now. Will be week 3, after which we'll be moving on to Super WrestleMania for Super Nintendo, which came out by Acclaim for the WWF in 1992. So we got tomorrow, and it's hard to imagine, you know, it feels like just yesterday we started playing with WrestleMania X8. Tomorrow's it. It's the last day, and then we're moving on. Of course, we got Super WrestleMania, and then we got NES Pro Wrestling to round out our block. And then we will announce the new poll of what can we play during week 2 of NES Pro Wrestling. But in the meantime, I thought we'd have some fun if we just went back and, you know, we never won the pesky WWF title in Warzone. So I have it loaded up. So let's go ahead and go back on our challenge to win the WWF Championship on WWF Warzone. There it is. And if you remember, we are going through with Mankind. Now, the last time we played this, we had just beaten, I think it was Kane, in what would be the Intercontinental Championship match. We beat Kane. There you go. We got to load it. We beat Kane, and then I think the next match was Shamrock, and we backed out because on this game, if you win the Intercontinental title with Mankind, you unlock Dude Love, and then if you win the WWF title with Mankind, you unlock Cactus Jack. It is Ken Shamrock. So we went back to see if we had Dude Love, and the game froze. So we went back to it, beat Kane again, beat Shamrock, and the game froze immediately afterwards. So we're back at it. I have changed nothing. So there's a good chance this is going to be in vain. It'll freeze immediately after we beat Kane. And again, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, there's a couple new people here. This is not an emulator. This is my actual PlayStation 1. So yes, mishaps do happen, and no, I will not get an emulator. So that being said, let's grab something to drink. Let's watch the intro videos, and let's have a little fun. Going back to 1997 for WWF Warzone. And, you know, this Mankind Kane feud, which at this time, well, actually it was before this, right? It was for the love of Paul Bearer. And they won the tag titles. I actually have an autographed picture by both Kane and Mankind with the tag team championships up here in the office. Doesn't get enough attention. You know, Undertaker Mankind gets all the love, as it should. I'm not saying it should not, but Mankind Kane right behind it. That's right in the back of the throat. So also, if you watch this show, or if you watch some of my appearances with Talking Wrestling with Conwater and Amy, of course, Drunken Pop, all here on the Markout Moments Network. Or if you see me around some wrestling events through AFS, whatever the case is, I have smoked since I was 20 years old, and I'm about to turn 41 in March. And today marks 1 day without a cigarette. I'm sorry, not a month, a week. But I've only had 6 cigarettes since December 19th. Now, TJ, how do you know it was only 6? Because that's how many I had left. Let's win the Intercontinental title. Let's beat Kane. So, I have been doing the Zen pouches, which have been good, better than I imagined. And it actually, not smoking, actually, you know, I thought I would have a more difficult time with it. It actually hasn't been terrible. But I also, you know, when I won't speak for everyone else. When I really get cravings, it's when I'm drinking. specifically if I'm drinking out. If I'm at home, I don't know if I'm not gonna say I don't get cravings. I just ignore them because I don't smoke in front of my kids. But oh, nice. But so I don't at home. It's not too bad. But even if I did, I could just step out of the garage and have one. But it actually, I've been okay. Like it hasn't been real bad. It's gone better than I imagined it would. But of course, you know, a true test will be this week. There's a chance I'm going to go to the Legion to watch the Bears game as they play the Rams in the NFL playoffs. And you can still smoke in the Legion, and I'm going to be drinking, and I'm going to be excited watching the Bears game. So that'll be a true test. Now, the other times I would get cravings, and I don't even know if craving is the right word. You just build up this routine. And it was, if I was just bored, you know, at work, especially. And we are taking it to Kane right now. Arm wrench. Arm bar. So again, when I first came up with this show and I almost said filmed, when I recorded the proof of concept, the game was Super WrestleMania. So I am very familiar with the game, the controls, the history. That's why I actually studying that or researching for that show is how I became so adept at the sort of the history of WWF video games from its inception to, let's say, after Nintendo 64. And so I'm excited to bring that back out. We kind of talked about it last week, but I couldn't really make any shorts of last week because every short was just me having a panic attack watching the Bears game. So, it's the Acclaim series. So again, Super WrestleMania. I think Royal Rumble was in there. WWF Raw, which I had for Sega Genesis, and then Sega Saturn in your house, which will be on the next poll for us to play. They kind of get all lumped together in the minds of fans, and they should. It's the same company, right? It's Acclaim. Very same feel, just different wrestlers on the game, and updated a few things. Again, Raw was one of the first games I remember that had music at the character screen, and so I'm excited to pull that one back out here in next Friday and play Super WrestleMania with y'all. And I actually liked the game. I thought the controls was easy to digest. For 1992, the gameplay and how you win matches and whatnot was great, and it had a Survivor Series match, which I did not see coming. Let's see, what's the knee drop? Let's pick him up. Let's do some damage. Okay, we don't want to do that. Oh, now we do it. Got the old $1 Million Dream, aka Cobra Clutch. Not enough people have character-based named submission moves anymore, $1 Million Dream, Balls of Jericho, Camel Clutch. Just not enough of those. Those were a good time. Uh-oh. Oh, I am just somebody call my mama. I mean, Kane, I don't know what happened, but he does not bring his A game today. He's getting taken to the woodshed, as JR would say. Ooh, can I get around to? No, I did not. Right in the mush. Oh. Haymaker. Kane is catching that ass whooping. And if you're watching this saying this is too easy, if you would like, I will show you it's on normal setting. This is the best match I've ever played, maybe ever, of this game. And I did have it when I was a kid. I had this. I had Attitude. I had, I had Under the Gamut. But again, I never had a Sega Saturn until recently. So I never played I played in your house, but not for Sega Saturn. So I am real excited for that. See if we can squeeze in a new move. I'm pretty reliant on the neckbreaker Samoan drop. Gut wrench powerbomb front backbreaker. So you pull that out. Oh, nope. This is craziness. I remember, the first time we beat Kane, I had to fight for my life. It was not easy. Crossface chicken wing, not a submission hold for some reason. That's weird. Oh no, I don't remember what the combination was for the mandible claw. Let's see if I can remember. Left, right, up, circle, X. Oh, he went for it too. Dang it. Nice. Body slam. That'll work too. But it'll also do on the ground. Mandible claw. Don't know why this is not a pin, but it is not. Come on, let's beat Kane again. Woo-woo! Mankind defeats Kane. We are now the Intercontinental Champion. I wonder if that's the actual belt. It is. Look at that. It's the actual Intercontinental title. I'll be dipped in shit and rolled in breadcrumbs, as they say. So now we have to watch the video and then try to back out and save before we lose it again. All right, there's the magazine. IC belt champion captures title, which makes no sense grammatically. Let's see if old lady comes around and wants to get in our perspective packages now that we're champions. Oh, I didn't share the audio. Dang it. Oh, no, I did. Keep winning. I don't know why it's so quiet. It is what it is. So go ahead and let me out. We are going to save right now. And then we're going to see if we got Dude Love. Options. Save game. That is the one. So a couple episodes ago, I don't remember exactly which episode it was. I kind of got in here and I talked about how I wanted to build a video game racing rig to play like NASCAR and Dirt and Forza and Gran Turismo and all that. So eventually the goal is to come on here and play racing games on occasion, because I love racing games, but I've grown to notice I don't like racing games with controllers anymore. It seems the way to go is racing rigs. So you get the chair, the gas pedal, the steering wheel, the whole nine. So I am working on that right now. I was hoping to get some of that for Christmas. I did not. Got some great stuff for Christmas. Just not that. That would have tickled my fancy. I will say the Headbangers being from his own private hell is stupid. So more than likely, if you remember, we go through this biography thing, and if you go back over the character, it's their secondary costume. So I'm guessing Dude Love is going to be an alternate costume of Mankind. Because remember, his original costume was just his costume, but darker. So there's Mankind from the Boiler Room, also dumb. Ahmed Johnson. That's weird. I got a text message, and I believe the game just froze. But we saved. See? We saved. So we got that going for us. This is crazy. This is the second time in a row. We tried to find Dude Love in the biography. And It froze. It just does not want us to see Mankind. Got to reset. Boom. I'm so happy we saved. I mean, there's a very good chance if this game froze and I did not save, this would have been a 15-minute show. That's where we are right now. Like, nope, I'm out. Not doing it. So how was everyone's holidays? Did everyone's football team stay in? By the way, IU is in the national championship game this weekend against Miami as we are recording this. And I live in northern Indiana, but there's a abnormal amount of Steelers fans. And the reason why I say it's abnormal, I'm a Steelers fan, literally wearing their jersey, but I'm Bears fans first, of course. Is the area. Like we're in Northwest Indiana. We're an hour and a half or so from Chicago. There's a lot of Steelers fans in this area. I think it's because there's so many steel mills up in this area. But the amount of Steelers fans that wanted Mike Tomlin to get fired and the disrespect they showed Mike Tomlin out the door is wild to me. The man took you to a Super Bowl, won one, went to another one. And people will say, well, he won with Mike Cowher's or Bill Cowher's team. Okay, he still won one. You still have to coach the team to a title. They don't coach themselves. And again, I'm a Steelers fan. I'm literally wearing a Mike Webster Steelers jersey recording this show. But to all the Steelers fans who showed so much disrespect to Mike Tomlin out the door, I hope you go 4-13 next year. Now, to all the decent Steelers fans that understand the Steelers, 19 years of no losing seasons is banana. I don't think people understand how bananas that is. Like, that's crazy. All right, so where's Dude Love? When did I guess technically when he was with the Nation of Domination, he wore black, but it had the red, yellow, and green thing with it, the stripey. But I like a head coach that has that much success in any sport. And like you can say, and I'm willing to listen, that maybe it was time for Tomlin to move on. I'm with you on that. We'll probably agree on that. But to just trash the man on the way out the door is crazy. I don't get it. I saw literally zero Ravens fans say they wanted John Harbaugh to be fired. Not one. And he was let go. Same situation. 18 years. Was it time to go? Maybe. Maybe it was. Where is Dude Love? I do have the strategy guide. Let's hold on. By the way, I did get the strategy guide for WrestleMania X8. So we'll have that tomorrow. Oh, no, I had it in the last show. As I was. Go back to my little library back there. So where is Dude Love before we jump back in and whoop Ken Shamrock's ass? Mankind. Ken Shamrock, Ahmed Johnson, Mankind. Oh, here we go. His alter egos, Dude Love and Cactus Jack, will appear in the player select box and in the bio room. Okay. So, when we start the game, or go back to continue the game, he should be a selectable character. So let's see if that is in fact the case. I got to help out Pond Water real quick. Old Pond Water Dave. So give me just a second. before we look for the Dudester. I forgot they were doing a watch along tonight. Let's see here. Oh, wait, never mind. So let's see. Let's start to scroll through while I'm doing this and see if he's on here. Now, if I saved and I still have to go back and beat Kane again, I'm going to be mad. I wonder if I have to load the game that we had. Let's do that. So I'm going to load our game. Maybe that's why we don't have Dude, because it did freeze in the meantime. Okay, so it held Kane, so we should have Dude. So we'll exit out right quick. Sorry, once again, helping Pond Water. Take me 2 more seconds. Well, that is not how you spell info. I almost spelled infro. All right, let's see if Dude Loves here. Yeah, over at AFS, they're doing TNA Watch Along tonight as they debut on AMC. I forgot all about it. Whoops. We had Kane, Shamrock, Taker, Owen, Brett, Ahmed Johnson, The Rock, Mankind, Triple H, Goldust, Farouk, Bulldog, Austin, Shawn. No Dude Love. So I guess we'll just keep going. I'll see if he is not a secondary costume. All right, so we'll just keep going. Now I'm bummed. And we'll just have to whoop old Ken Shamrock's ass, you know? Shamrock, Undertaker, Brett left to go. And you know, there's going to be a grudge match in between now and then. I have to beat somebody in a cage and or weapons match. Because what would Warzone be without those two things? Man, Ken Shamrock in 1997 was, man. Yeah, it looked like the sky was the limit with old Ken. And it's such a, I was a big Shamrock fan. It is a bummer. It did not work out for him. I mean, he had a good couple of years, but I mean, he's gone in 99, which is crazy. The 97 and 90, I would say for sure were Shamrock's biggest years. I actually thought there was, somebody you guys might remember this, there was a gauntlet match on Raw. It was awesome when he was the champion. He had to face the entire corporation. And 2 of the guys he wrestled obviously was Boss Man and Shamrock. And I thought Austin Shamrock was intriguing. Even back then at, 13 years old. I was like, wow, Austin and Shamrock, that would be something. But they never really pursued a feud after that. And it's very possible with Austin being the veteran he was at that time. He was like, yeah, no, I'm not working with Ken. It's possible. I'm not going to say it wasn't. Neckbreaker. Single arm DDT. Oh, perfect execution. So yeah, last week we I kind of scheduled Bash on the Buttons poorly. I scheduled it right at halftime was when the show started, the Bears-Packers game. So we watched it. I watched it live while we were doing the show. So you want to go back and watch that last week's show. I was watching the Bears game. And worked out. I was pretty sullen when the show started because it was like 21-3. But it worked out. I can't I can't fathom. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and shove it in the Packers' face. The Bears should not have won that game. I'm not going to sit here and pretend they should have. They should not have, by any stretch of the imagination. But I think what worries me about what's worrisome and what is that was an excellent combo strategy by Shamrock. Wow, that was impressive. What is encouraging and yet discouraging about the Bears is they can score 49 points in the fourth quarter. The problem is they have to, because the defense, they get turnovers, but they also give up a ton of yards. Like our defenses, our turnovers have made the defense look decent. It's not. It's pretty bad. And the offense does not show up until halfway through the third. And somehow we got away with the Packers. You're not going to get away with the Rams. Puka might go for 200 against the Bears. And Shamrock is just whipping my ass right now. There we go. Now, there's a lot of combos I tried to do where Mankind was like, I know you press directional pads, but I'm going to kind of like now. I'm just going to kick and punch instead. I don't know. I am going to watch IU Miami just for morbid curiosity. I cannot believe there can be no other time in sports, with the exception of maybe Howard Schnellenberger in Miami in the 80s, which is ironic because that's who they're playing. But I cannot remember another time in sports where a story like IU had. They have been they are historically the worst college football team ever. He gets hired 2 years ago. He's lost 2 games, none this year. And now they're going to play for the national title against Miami. And he beat some powerhouses to get there. Alabama, Ohio State. Like it's crazy what he's done with IU. And that was another thing, is I've been hearing people say, well, I wonder if Cignetti is going to go to Pittsburgh because he's a Pittsburgh guy for the Steelers job. IU is going to throw the bank at him. He is not going to Pittsburgh. Oh, boy. I ran away, and he still got me. He is beating the hell out of me. This is embarrassing. I look like Oregon against IU. I thought IU was just destined to be, the Big Ten mat forever. and then this year happened. It's bizarre. But again, it goes to show you, like, for people, Poundwater still needs help. Always something with this guy. That, for people that want to discount conferences or whatever, that goes to show you how much money the Big Ten has, because there is no way that should be possible. Why do I keep? I don't understand why I keep throwing haymakers and not trying to do moves, and I don't like it. Boink. All right, so let's do a different button. Maybe that'll help. Nope. Kick to the dick. Kick to the dick. What is happening? Why am I not doing moves anymore? Just throwing haymakers. And then he blocks it. What a penis. Body slam. Take that. All right. We're getting back in it now. What do we do? What do we do? Gut wrench. Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, tried and true. Blam. We are still not in a great spot. He is still significantly more health than we do. And if he slaps on that ankle lock, as we all know, it's over. Oh! Hola maholas. the DDT. Oh, we just knocked him down a peg. Here we go. Let's do it. You know, pile driver. That's right. It's a pile driver. Neck breaker. I didn't mean to do it twice. Whoops. Whoops a daisies. Diamond cutter, a shitty one. Shit. Oh, that stun going on the turnbuckle. Come on, let me. I can't reverse this. I'm just dazed forever. That's stupid. We are in trouble. We need a rally here. Oh boy. Oh, that actually worked out in our favor. The haymaker, because I did not want to throw it. Pile driver. Let's do our own power. Ooh. Yeah, let's do our own pile driver. Boom, boom, boom. You take that, sir. Oh boy. It is getting hairy. It is getting hairy. Shit. There are different shades of red, isn't there? I think there is for your health. I think it goes dark or shove. Quit throwing haymakers. I didn't want to do that either. That works. That's fine. Punch. Why am I just not doing moves anymore? He's just punching and kicking in the dick. Maybe I'm moving too fast. I don't know. That's not good. Oh yeah, that's not great at all. Wow, that was brutal to start. We had a little comeback there, but Shamrock whooping that ass. Which now means we have to start this over again, because if you've been watching long enough, you'll know I lost to Headbanger Mosh twice. Did she throw something at me? Or did she just drive by and call me a loser? Oh, newspaper. Stupid. So, of course, if you remember this, and you'll see here in a minute, if you lose in this Warzone Championship Pursuit 3 times, you start at the beginning. And we ain't doing that. So we'll just reload and then hope Shamrock doesn't just beat the shit out of us again. He went all animal fury on us. I wonder why we don't have Dude Love. That's upsetting me. I saw in his character bio in the instruction, or the instruction manual, the strategy guide, that like you can do, it says Sweet Chin music, but I hope it's Sweet Shin music, because that's what it was. And of course, Cactus's finisher is the double arm DDT. See, let's look at that while they're coming to the ring. Oh, I almost dropped my remote. Mankind, Mandible Claw. So Cactus Jack does the double arm DDT. So does Do Love. I thought he did Sweet Shin music. Maybe I made that up. I must have made it up. Huh. That's sad. By the way, I'm getting some enjoyment I didn't realize I was going to. Ordering these strategy guides for these old games and then getting them in the mail in pristine condition has brought me entirely too much joy. Must be the collector in me. I don't know. By the way, I had a complete set of 1980s Topps baseball cards with 5 cards graded, which was J.R. Richard, Gary Carter, Johnny Bench, Dave Parker All-Star and Ricky Henderson, Ricky Henderson is the one everyone wants out of that set. If you can get a PSA 10 of Ricky Henderson, you have just made out. You just made salary for a year, maybe 2, depending on what you do. And but mine's at a 7, and even at a 7, that Henderson goes for 250, 225, 250. I just sold the whole set, and the rest of the set is in a binder, so it's pretty well protected for $500. I'm real happy. I have to get. I've never sold a binder. I've sold and shipped individual slabs, so I have to go get some more packing materials tomorrow, so I can ensure that I pack this as safely and protected as I can, because I don't want to, send them bad shit. But very excited about that. I got a couple more sets. I have a collection or a set I've picked out that I want to send to PSA for grading, and a lot of them are Jordans. There's a lot of Michael Jordans in this. I kind of went nuts with Michael Jordans, but the issue is I see how he's wearing me down so fast. He just keeps getting me in these wear down holds. Is PSA is kind of in some hot water with their grading standards and practices and vaults and eBase and everything else. I'm not gonna get into it here on the show because I don't know all the details for one. I don't want to say something's wrong. But it's interesting. I've been trying to research, like, if it's not PSA is still the standard bearer for card grading, then who's it going to be? And it seems like the only other option for monetary getting your money back on the grading is going to be Beckett. And there's some things I actually like more about Beckett than I did with PSA, specifically when you get your cards back in the slab, it actually lists the subcategories like corners, edges, surface, and how they actually grade in every specific area, so you know how the total grade was calculated. PSA does not like that, or doesn't do that. I like that. So right now I'm trying to decide, do I send them now and just hope that PSA's reputation doesn't go in the toilet in the meantime, or do I just wait it out and maybe wait to do a Beckett or a Beckett grading dump here? Beckett is a little bit more expensive, which again, but if you're grading honestly, and I'm going to get, and Beckett still gives a fairly decent return on investment, especially if you get a Beckett Black Label, son, you just like, that's it right there. That's cat's ass, as they'd say. So it's worth it. But I mean, it's just interesting. PSA has been the standard bearer for years, and now they kind of got caught their hand in the cookie jar. I'll just say that. And I'm a nerd, so I'm interested to see where this goes moving forward. And the weird thing was that what they got busted for wasn't even involving sports cards. It was Pokemon cards, which I've also recently heard, because getting into this buying and selling sports cards, you kind of get my future business partner does Magic the Gathering cards, which if you're into Magic the Gathering and want some cards, let me know. And I will hook you up with him, because his collection is absurd. And I mean tens of thousands of dollars of investment in his collection. So we do sports cards and Magic. We were looking to break into Pokemon. And for one, the Pokemon market is so volatile. It's crazy. Like when we first started, we've done 2 card shows now. Like we had tables as sellers, merchants. And at that time, Pokemon business was hot. And within like a month after we did those card shows, the Pokemon market went in the toilet. Because not only is, there's mass production, baseball cards happen the same thing, right? But there's that. There's, you have people who work at certain businesses that's like have the Pokemon vending machines, or work in a store that sell Pokemon, and they would just buy everything up before anyone else had a chance to. But also Magic and Pokemon, but really all card businesses or distributions are very prone to fraud. There's very specific things you have to look for in the cards to make sure it's you can tell it's not fake. But and they allegedly Pokemon just announced they're going to mass produce everything moving forward. So you won't have to bombard a vending machine before anyone else can buy one, a card out of the or box out of the vending machine, because it won't matter. They're going to mass produce everything. Now, where the money's going to come in for Pokemon will be in, legacy and vintage. So the older generations probably still have some value. Newer ones, I don't think so. So I'm kind of keeping my ear to the ground for that. But yeah, so we're looking to do some more card shows. Actually, the reason why I had that 80 Topps baseball set for sale is I'm trying to clear out some inventory to buy stuff for this year. I bought the 1980 baseball set. It was just a whim. I was just looking for the Rick Anderson card, and it was one of those things. I was doing research on something else, and I just happened to stumble upon that card and its value. I read it somewhere. I don't even remember where it was anymore. And bought the case on a risk, the collection on a risk. And I would say with the 7, and it was still sell for $250, it was worth it. Because I don't think I paid that for the set. So to take those 5 cards, get them graded, and be able to sell the set for $500, essentially doubling my investment, I'm very happy with it. So I forgot the combo. Oh, it's right here. Left, right, up, circle X. That's right. Left, right, up, circle X. Body slam. I do have a Caleb Williams 2024 Topps Midnight set, Winter Solstice autographed out of 35 right now, PSA 10. And I'm not getting rid of that right now for 2 reasons. For one, Caleb is looking like he's going to have a real good career. So its value is only going to go up every year. I believe one just sold on eBay for like $2,500, I think, somewhere in that area. And I won it in a raffle that I paid $300 to get into. And then so I don't really know where to set the baseline to sell it. And also I kind of this one might be a keeper, especially now with me being a Bears fan. Oh, got it. Good night, Ken. We're moving on. My goodness. His toughness rating has got to be through the roof. In the red, Mandible Claw, 10. We got barely to half. That is crazy. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, you stay out there and you settle down. You think about what you did. I mean, I'm going to probably take the Caleb to card shows when we do them. Have it like be eye candy at the table, but I ain't selling it unless somebody makes me a ridiculous offer. What was pin? I don't remember what pin was. Oh, it tells you it's circle. Okay. This has got to be it, folks. That's an interesting thing. Did Shamrock ever tap out in the WWF? I don't think he did. That's interesting. I don't think he ever did. Now, granted, again, his WWF career was what, 2 years, 3 years? Who's going to challenge me to a grudge match? Kane. Does he talk? Nope. So we can't listen to it for too long because the song gets kicked off YouTube. Is it a weapons match or a cage match? Is the question. But I do have a few more complete sets of football and baseball cards left. A couple of them I want to send out to get graded. I have individual cards of each that I want to send out to get graded. There's some sets I'm trying to complete. I've got some things, single cards that could be valuable. I got some single cards that I just think are cool as shit. I got some patch cards before I even realized they were doing patch cards. These were from like 2003. I didn't know. And one's Joe Nathan of the Twins. I didn't even know they were making those back then. So I got a lot of like singular baseball and football, or just randos throughout. And I had them in a box for $1 or like 3 for $1 or whatever. But I think I'm just going to separate them into like each prospective team and make like little 3 or 4 team sets, and then just hand them out to kids at the table. You know, here's 4 Brewers cards, whatever your favorite team is, you know, just a nice thing. Yeah, I don't, they're like, I like that I have them, but also it's one of those things like, I don't want to hold on to these for like my entire life. I'd like to get rid of them if I can. So we did win. Who did we beat in a cage match before? I think it was Goldust. We've previously beaten a cage match. I think every other grudge match we've had has been a weapons match, which is stupid, by the way. We're making some good progress here. I'm actually excited. So next we'll have either Bret Hart or Undertaker. And then after that, it's on the WWF Championship. We might actually get there. Holy moly. Oh. Ow, stop it. This ring looks huge. I don't know. It looks like it's 40 by 40. I'm very excited for TNA to be debuting tonight on AMC. It's great for them, great for wrestling. More competition, the better. Nothing but good. Of course, you're getting more people in the wrestling business a job, which is always good. No arguments here. I'm sure all the wrestling fans online will be completely rational about the whole thing. That is that is the sad part of me being a wrestling fan since '89. And when you're a kid and even as a teenager, the one thing you've always wanted as a wrestling fan is other people to share your interests so you could talk to someone about it. And then they make the internet and social media chokeslam. That might have been the first move he's done to me. It was a chokeslam. And they make social media, and finally you could kind of curate these communities online where you can talk about your wrestling stuff and actually have the opportunity you've always wanted growing up to talk about wrestling with your friends. And then it becomes a toxic dump that every time a new fan may be jumping in, they have to chase them out for no other reason than to show everyone they're King Dick. Like, it is the most frustrating shit. I'll give you an example. Do you know how cool it would have been if wrestling fans could have been like, dude, Ice Cube's son is in our community, and then we're like, no, get out. Because he has opinions. Like, it's the craziest shit ever. I am curious to see with Royal Rumble coming up, how, what are the plans for WrestleMania this year? I don't watch that often anymore. But I'm going to watch the Rumble. I'll watch WrestleMania. I genuinely don't know what they're doing from here till then. Clearly McIntyre is involved somehow. I did see he just won the title. I would guess one of the nights you're going to get Punk and Braun Breaker, which sign me up. And more than likely it'll end with Breaker winning the title, the championship, which again is great. Dude's more than ready, at least from a physical standpoint and an aura standpoint for sure. You're probably going to have the unwilling partners in Punk and Seth Rollins against the Vision on one of the nights, probably night 1, and then Punk and Breaker be night 2. I don't know what you do with Cody. And the reason why I say that is in my opinion, and this is nothing against either party, but to me, after 2 years of Cody and Roman, to follow it up with Cody and Drew, unless they build the shit out of it between now and then, would just feel like a letdown. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. I kind of do. Just from and again, nothing against either one. It's just from like the bloodline was so hot for so long. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully The Rock stays away. I would like to see Dolph Ziggler make or Nick Nemeth, one more WrestleMania appearance at least. Kind of miss him on the show. Matt Cardona's back, which is awesome. I got to interview Cardona once when I worked for PW Mania, and could not be a nicer guy. Really nice guy. Good interview too. Very open and honest. Answered my questions. Even let me in on controversies he was involved in that I was not even aware of. Oh, Man of a Claw. Good night. Oh, but we got to climb out of the cage. I forgot about that. That would have been it right there. That would have been all she wrote. Blink. So now I got to remember how to climb the cage. Okay, there we go. At least we know for next time. I got down because I knew I was not going to make it out in time. Oh, we have 9.5 minutes to go also. I forgot they have time on the draws. And then it's, what do they call it? Vince's decision? Is that what it's called? Your winner, Mankind. Get the out, Kane. By total blowout. That's right. We'll go back and save. Because now at the most, we have 3 matches to go. We will have, looks like Undertaker. And then probably a grudge match. And then Bret Hart. And again, I owned this game when I was a kid. I have never had the patience to win the WWF Championship on this game. Ever. So I am pretty excited about that. Let's go ahead and save. Right meow. I'm still bummed we don't have Dude Love. What's that about? Maybe you have to win the whole thing. Oh, when you win the WWF Warzone Challenge playing Mankind on normal difficulty, his alter egos Dude Love and Cactus Jack will appear. So yeah, you got to beat the whole thing, which is a lie because the online report, weirdly enough, lied to me because it said after you win the Intercontinental title, you'll have Dude Love. Lying sack of shit. Go back to old Mankind. So we got Undertaker. Then again, probably a grudge match, probably Shamrock. And then we're on to Bret Hart for the WWF title. We're this close. Because, yeah, I've faced both headbangers, Ahmed and Goldust, that I absolutely remember in grudge matches, and now Kane. So I probably also faced Austin, The Rock, and Farouk. I just don't remember. We can go back in time and watch the videos. I don't feel like it. In other sports, Cubs went out and signed Alex Bregman to I don't remember the exact amount. I think it was 5 years, $175 million, which is a little high price to me. But I also understand it. And there's plenty of people online who, who've said like he hit 22 home runs and 62 RBIs last year, why are you going to pay that guy $175 million? Well, for one, Boston was not, they weren't terrible. They weren't the best team. And their lineup, their lineup did not dictate that you have to pitch to Bregman. You can be careful around Bregman because no one behind him is going to punish you if you don't, Meanwhile, in Chicago, he'll have, Bush. Michael Bush has hot streaks, so you have to do that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend he does it all the time. And then, but there's people around. But they're not paying Bregman for his offense. It's nice that he's had nice offensive seasons. They're paying Bregman for his defensive third and to be a locker room leader. That's why they're hiring Bregman. Oh, PCA. That was the other guy. Pete Crow Armstrong. That was the other guy I was trying to think of. Where did that guy come from? By the way, I just bought one of the cartridges I worked last year. I went to somebody else's table and bought an autographed Pete Crow Armstrong rookie card when he played for the Mets. And it is graded. No, I'm sorry. That one's not graded. It is in a slab, but it's not graded. I have a graded PCA, also a rookie card, but it is not graded. Oh, I'm sorry. The one that's not signed is graded. The one that is signed is not. So I'm looking that the PCA is one of the ones I'll be sending to get graded in this next group. Again, a bunch of Jordans, a handful of Ken Griffey Juniors, and then I have the 1984 NFL top set. And out of that set, I'm sending off Elway, Marino, Walter Payton, Howie Long, and Roger Craig. Well, maybe Montana. Montana might have been in there too. I have to go back and look. We got to kind of wait and see what is going on with PSA. So we'll see, Man, Undertaker, Mankind, this was peak fandom. I still remember watching the Raw after WrestleMania 12 when Mankind debuted and just beat the shit out of the Undertaker after he just won a match. I don't remember who it was against. I mean, it was in the middle of it. No, he won. And I can't remember because he was coming down the stairs. And I don't even remember who he beat. It doesn't matter. Maybe a little top rope. I don't think I hit that. I missed. But that there goes the start of a 3 or 4 year feud that does not get its due. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Because for my money, I think Undertaker Mankind is probably top 3 feuds of the 90s. And like that might sound crazy, but just sit there and think about it for a minute. Of all the feuds in the 90s that are memorable, who's going to be Undertaker Mankind? Austin McMahon. I get that. I wouldn't even say Austin Rock because that didn't really come till later. It was like 2000 and 01, towards the end of Austin's career. Undertaker King would have to go up there. The thing with WCW is they had a lot of great matches and whatnot. But as far as like main event feuds, there's not a bunch that stick out in my mind. Like Flair Vader 93, Starrcade 93. Great match. I wouldn't call it a feud. Sting Flair, I'll give you. I'd put Sting Hogan, but they botched it so bad at Starrcade. Does Austin Brett go on the list? It's close. If it's not on there, it's right there. Come on. Yeah. We did it. Whip that ass. Beat The Undertaker. I'm going to save as soon as I can. Because now we are Bret Hart away from the world title, assuming I don't get a grudge match. Oh. What is this? That's the best you could do. You needed an envelope for that? Yeah, the neck breaker. If I lose this, I'm gonna be pissed because I couldn't save. It just got real. Pressure just got ratcheted up a bit. But I did call it. We beat The Undertaker at the grudge match, weapons match, shit. And then we'll get Bret, but can't dilly-dally here. I'm like, we are back to square one. Having to beat, well, we'll have to beat The Undertaker again. And the shitty thing, if you weren't here for these original weapons matches we had to do, the grapple button and the button to pick up a weapon are the same button. It's also one of the buttons to do moves with in button combos. It's like right now, I'm right next to the camera. If I press circle, I will try to pick it up. So I'm trying not to do that and getting my ass whipped. So this is interesting. Shamrock's probably the only guy in this game now that I've noticed. He's just doing submission moves to wear you down. Interesting. Interesting philosophy by him. And you know what? Pretty fair to life also. So good for them there. Fair to life, is that a thing? I think I made up a phrase. I wanted to say true to life. But two can play that game, Ken. A little knee to the back. You like that. Shitty diamond cutter. I always enjoyed the hypotheticals about wrestling too, from especially this time period. Like, what if 1997, let's say DDP goes on and has his feud of the year against Randy Savage, which is phenomenal. And then say he leaves and goes to the WWF right after that, when he's the hottest he's ever was up to that point and probably was, period. Where does he fit in? I mean, within the two rosters, does DDP go straight to the main event in the WWF like he was in WCW? That's an interesting thought because I don't know. I think certainly he would have been, at least for a while, just, again, a new face for Austin or Undertaker or Mankind or whoever. But, you know, where does he fit? I don't know the answer to that. Babyface or heel? I would say at the time he had to have been a babyface. He was over as all get out. Oh. Picked up a camera. That's fine. We'll use it. And then, you know, does he Does he go to the corporation? I'm not going to sit here and pretend he should have gone on DX. That would have been stupid. But does he go? Does he play some weird character in the Ministry of Darkness? I don't know the answer to any of these. It's an interesting kind of thought exercise. Another one would be, what if Randy Savage went back? Where does he fit? Right in the dick with the ring bell. Got a chair. Now, the nice thing about the weapons is if you actually use them successfully. It drains their health real quick. But they're a pain in the ass because it takes them so long to pick it up. Just threw another camera in the ring. Right in the dick with the ring bell. I even went out of my way to go up towards his shoulders and he still hit him in the dick. He just wants to hit you in the dick with a ring bell. He wants to ring your bells. You know, what if Hogan goes back at some point before WCW closes? Where does he fit? I think Hogan in WWF in 97, 98, 99 would have been a fish out of water. I don't think he fits anywhere in that roster. It would have been kind of crazy. The company had changed so much. You know, the perception of what a babyface was had changed. I don't think Hogan fits in. And here's the thing. You're like, well, he's a heel with the NWO. Sure. But he was a heel with the Southern crowd anyway. But like I don't think he would have been a babyface if he would have gone back to WWF automatically. I think you have to, but who do you have him? Does he have to go against Austin so the crowd understands he's a heel? Like, I don't know. And actually, Hogan joining the ministry, the corporation, say before The Rock, or even with The Rock to like help groom him in the organization makes a lot of sense. But that would have been interesting. I don't know what you do there. Oh, you do a turnbuckle move. We haven't done this yet. Tree of Woe. And we're going to do that. Just whooping on his abdomen. It's I love having those hypothetical wrestling conversations. It's like my favorite thing to do. Especially in this era between you had two companies that were red hot, just loaded with talent. And with some of them you got to find out, like the Big Show and Jericho and Big Boss Man. You got to find out what would have happened because they went over. But some of it you didn't get to find out. Like to me, we never really got to find out, you know, Goldberg, Austin. And, you know, I've heard stories that DDP wanted to face The Rock when he went to the WWF because he was WCW's People's Champ. And that may sound stupid, but I actually think that would have worked. And here's another thing. I think doing stuff like that, you know, DDP versus The Rock for the real People's Champion actually would have helped the invasion angle because remember, DDP wasn't even a part of it. He was Undertaker's stalker or his wife's stalker, whatever however you want to phrase it. But it's unfortunate Stevie Ray was retired because if you could have thrown in Harlem Heat with the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys, that would have been great because for one, the Harlem Heat's ring tempo and their style and everything else was the complete opposite of the other three. It would have slowed the matches way down, which their matches were excellent, but in some of those matches, I mean, it could have stood to slow down a little bit. I don't think it would have hurt anything. But unfortunately, Stevie Ray was already retired. Can you just pin him, please? Thank you. We beat you. We are on to the WWF Championship. Holy mackerel. So we are going to save. And then it's on. The quest for the championship on WWF Warzone. Will we finally get there? And if you're asking yourself, TJ, if you beat this game, are you going to replay WCW versus the world once in a while to do stuff? The answer is a swift and pronounced no. That game was terrible. I think we've seen the first and the last of WCW versus the world on this show. That game was awful. All right, so let's save. Then it's on to Bret Hart for the WWF Championship. The Big Eagle, as it were. Then before we leave, we'll kind of go through, because the strategy guide does list all the super secrets, as it calls it, of this game. We'll go through what the rest of them are, because there are quite a few more. And you know, if this is like a recurring random drop in we want to do as the weeks go on, and me playing Warzone and unlocking stuff, I'm for it. But we got to figure out first if anything's worth coming back and doing it for. I do think Cactus Jack and Dude Love are the only two unlockable characters. I could be wrong there. By the way, I did read the strategy guide and found out that when we won the world title with William Regal on WrestleMania X8, we unlocked, who was it? Flair? Is either Flair or Benoit? I don't remember. We unlocked one of the two. All right, here we go. Mankind Bret Hart for the WWF Championship. For the first time in my life, I've won it. Because again, back in the day, I was too stupid / not a lot of money to buy a memory card. So every time I played this game, I had to start from the beginning, which made me hate it. Here we go. I'm actually kind of excited. It's weird to beat a game that is now 29 years old, or will be in March. And again, how crazy the times were. So this got released in June of 98. So Bret Hart, not with the company in June of 98. He's with WCW, but because production started well before he left, he's here with British Bulldog, also not in the company. Ahmed Johnson wasn't with the company, but he was released. And then Shawn Michaels was retired when this game came out. So it's just very interesting time. And maybe one of the more interesting wrestling video games for that reason was there was, again, the era. And because of the era and how much attention everyone paid between the two companies, the roster movings between the two companies just in this one game. And I'm sure when the day comes when we play World Tour or Revenge, which is coming soon, Revenge will be on the next voting poll. I'm sure there's a lot of that too. Revenge came out in 99. So I'm sure there was a lot of stuff like that on that game that, you know, they started producing it. The people left to go to the WWF. They couldn't catch it in time. Now they're on that game and probably WrestleMania 2000 when it came out. And that's the little business intricacies and details that we are going to find and discover here on this show and talk about, because I find them intriguing. So you had this game, you had Attitude was the next year. This version, the version of this game, the next version, you know, updated, which I'm curious to see what the graphics look like. I know the roster was bigger, but as far as like features or anything like that, I don't really know what else changed. And eventually we'll play Attitude. It's not going to be anytime soon because we played this. But, you know, I'm curious to see what that roster looked like. It's also the last game of the WWF Acclaim relationship. So I'm curious to see what, how that ended, what that looked like. Because again, when we did the first, no, I'm sorry, when I did the pilot, I'm sorry, when I recorded the pilot and did Super WrestleMania for Acclaim, I went over the timeline of Acclaim through both their high point in the early to mid 90s and then their rapid and destructive downfall into 2000s. I mean, I think they were not they were out of the business by like 2005, which is crazy. And they came petering to a halt in 2005. They did some dumb shit before they walked out the door. All things like that's what we talk about here on this show. And of course, we will continue. We'll be back to WrestleMania X8 for GameCube tomorrow for its last day. And again, then we're on to Super WrestleMania for SNES, Super Nintendo for 3 weeks, and then Pro Wrestling for NES. Then it's the next poll. What we're going to play after that. Again, if you haven't been watching with us, the next poll will have In Your House for Sega CD. Almost forgot what it was called. Boof. Royal Rumble for Dreamcast. Tag Team Wrestling for NES, which I've never heard of, but I've heard it's terrible. And I do have it. So that should be fun. That'll be a fun one just because it's going to be so bad. Well, it'll be fun for a couple minutes. I'm going to be pissed. And we got to do 3 weeks of it. And then the other one will be, WWF Royal Rumble for, WWF Raw for Sega Genesis. That was the other one. So that is what we got upcoming in the voters poll. No, wait, I'm sorry. It's not Raw for Sega Genesis. It's Revenge for N64. That was the other one. That is what we have upcoming here on Bash on the Buttons. Right now, we are trying to beat Bret Hart to finally end my 28-year attempt and to trying to win the WWF Championship. It's even more interesting. I never looked into this. I wonder if who the champion is randomized. It would have to be, right? Because it's interesting that Bret would be the champion in this game and not Shawn or Austin. Now, again, when production started, Bret was the champion. He was not when the game was released. Got to be careful. Bret's trying to mount a comeback here. Boom. Walks up, Samoan drop. Thank you for your time. Ooh, what can we do in this position? Pump handle slam. It's not what that was at all. Uh-oh. We got Bret in the red. Need to wear him down a little bit more. Haymaker. Knee breaker. Backbreaker. I'm just pulling all the breakers, you know? Come on. Why aren't you doing it? You pinned him. And we just won the WWF Championship. See if it's the actual belt. It is. Is that that might be the Winged Eagle. When did they? It was the day after WrestleMania 14, right? Was when the introduction of the Big Eagle. Am I making that up? I thought it was. Oh, I'm sure Lady's going to come bother us. World champion conquers, strips defender's title again. Doesn't make sense, but that's fine. That's it. That's bogus. Mankind makes a loser out of Bret Hart. Kane defeated Shamrock. Shamrock fell in a hurry. Austin beat Goldust. All right, so we are officially the champion. Defend your belt. We're going to find out what that means here in a second. I'm going to save first. And then we're going to look at Cactus Jack and Dude Love. I wonder if they have their music. I have to find that out too. And then we're going to go through the strategy guide to see what the other unlockables are. Again, see if they're worth, once in a while coming back on this game like we did tonight, see if they're worth unlocking. And then we'll defend the title once, and then I think we'll call it a night after that. Here on this random Thursday, Bash on the Buttons drop-in. So let's see if we can find Cactus. Actually, let's look up at the biographies because I want to see if they have the music. Hope it doesn't freeze. Probably will. I miss Owen Hart. Owen's in my top 5 ever. I loved watching Owen Hart. Even when I hated him, I loved Owen Hart. He was so fun to watch. Headbangers? Not so much. Actually, I like the Headbangers. I thought they could have had a little bit of a longer run, but I also understand why they didn't. You know what's interesting is they always had the Undertaker and Kane was at 7 foot tall. Beyond the game, they're 6'10" and 6'9". That's crazy. You put their real height on the game. It's kind of weird. I was a big fan of Goldust too when he first debuted for a year and a half. And listen, guilty pleasure. The Hollywood Backlot Brawl between Goldust and Roddy Piper is one of my favorite matches ever at WrestleMania. I love that match. Where's Dude and Cactus? We're back to Owen. What the hell? They're going to make me... Well, you can't load it from this screen. Right? No, you can't. What the hell? No, shut up. Where's Dude and Cactus? I'm going to lose my shit now. See? Austin, Bulldog, Farouk, Goldust, Triple H, Mankind, The Rock, Ahmed, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Undertaker, Shamrock, Kane, Thrasher, Mosh, Shawn. Hold on, let's do this. The hell? I'm about to get mad. It says normal difficulty. I beat it on normal. You sons of bitch. Well, I'll put it to you this way. I didn't change it. I would assume it's on normal. I'm going to be pissed if I just beat it on easy. But it also makes sense because I whipped the shit out of Shamrock and Undertaker. Did it freeze? Excellent. All right. I do love hearing the startup sound. It just takes you back to a much, much easier and simpler time. Life was easy. I was 13, not a care in the world, didn't have a job, didn't need money. My only responsibility was pass school, and that's it. Let's see what the difficulty's at. If it's on easy, I'm going to be throwing shit in here. I'm not really, but you get the idea. Kyle Tucker just signed the Los Angeles Dodgers. How about that? How about them apples? I have a really good friend that's a Dodgers fan. You guys have a really good friend that's a Dodgers fan. His name's Efren. Ah, shit, it's on easy. Well, no wonder. That sucks. We're not starting over now. But I'm kind of done with I'm over the Dodgers. Like, baseball needs a salary cap in the absolute worst way. So now we're gonna have to beat this again with Cactus Jack on son of a bitch. Well, we're not doing that tonight. I can tell you that. So let's go through the strategy guide and see what else is there to unlock. So we go back to, I wish I had one of those things where you could see the pages. I'm looking through it. Let's go to, what's page 82? Does it just list all of them? That would be great. Offensive get-ups? What the hell does that mean? Oh, punch them when you stand up. You could just say that. So let's look at, we're now entering the word. That's funny. Dude loves on the cover page. That's funny. I enjoy that. Let's look at the character sheets. Austin, no unlockables. Shawn Michaels, there's none. Undertaker, beat the challenge with the Undertaker and you'll be able to disable the on-screen health meters. How many hits will it take to topple your opponent? Now you'll have to guess. That sounds awful. And it doesn't even say a difficulty. You just have to beat the challenge. It's bullshit. Kane, beat the challenge with Kane in any difficulty mode, and you'll have access to new paints. New pants, masks, shirts, and boots for use with your custom wrestler. That could be fun. See if any of those are actual people, maybe. Farouk. Beat the Warzone challenge with Farouk or Shamrock, and you'll be able to disable the blocking function of the game. That's also doesn't sound great. Mankind, you get Dude Love and Cactus. Mosh and Thrasher, nothing. Bret Hart. Beat the challenge with Bret Hart or Owen, and you'll be able to select the ring girl as a wrestler. Okay. British Bulldog. Beat the challenge with British Bulldog or Rocky Maivia on any difficulty level, and everyone's head swells to giant size. Good old JR should feel right at home. I don't know what that means. I didn't write that. It's in the book. And I don't know why. What does that even mean? Beat the challenge with Ahmed Johnson. You'll be able to access ego mode, which gives your wrestler a head that grows as he gets support from the fans. So let those cheers go right to your head. That's fun. Oh, it's got some unlockables here as you go through. That's interesting. So that's what we have so far. So there was like a burp and fart mode I remember seeing. I have not seen that yet. Female custom wrestlers. Beat the Warzone challenge with Shawn Michaels to Triple H, and the game will allow you to create female custom wrestlers complete with assorted body types and costumes. Va-va-voom. I've never heard anyone say that in real life. Va-va-voom. What the hell does that mean? So essentially, you can make China, is what they're trying to say. If there's any more. Wrestle the trainer for real. Go into the training room and select any move from the menu. and you will get a message telling you that the trainer is now selectable as a wrestler in the game. Just hope he doesn't take all the abuse you've piled on him personally. Okay, so you can unlock the trainer for the game. See if there's any more in here real quick. Oh. Beat the challenge with Goldust on normal difficulty, and you'll get access to 2 more of his costumes for use in mirror matches. I don't know what the hell that means. Goldust. Oh. So if you do like a tag team match, you'd have regular Goldust, American Dream Goldust, which is him in the polka dots, his actual alternate costume, which is him in the green lingerie, which is horrifying, and then I don't know what the other one is. It looks like, I think it's supposed to be him as Marilyn Manson, but he does not look like Marilyn Manson in the picture. We'll see. We'll check real quick for any. Oh, here we go. Stone Cold. You can unlock extra outfits. If you beat the game with Austin on hard, you'll get access to 2 more of his costumes for the same reason as Sean. So it's got the Austin 316 shirt and jeans, vest and jeans, and then just vest and then regular. I'm enjoying this. Is fun. I like this. Reflections N64 only. Beat the challenge with any wrestler on any difficulty, and you'll be able to change the wrestler's shadows into full color reflections instead. Ever wonder what it would be like to wrestle on a mirror? So that's just the N64 version. I don't know why or what that even is. They described it to me. I'm still confused. Many of the moves are reversible. Thank you. Huh. They had a correction saying the book was made before the game, so things may be different. That's good. What is this? How to start a promotion with 10 wrestlers. What the hell? All right. Oh, how they did the 3D scanning is in this book. That's interesting. Ah, yes. The old way to do stuff. This is fun. Scanning, I mean. Motion capture, all that jazz. Mark Janus. Ganus. Belches. Beat I almost died. Beat the challenge with Mosh or Thrasher on any difficulty level. And you'll hear belches and burps instead of grunts during the wrestling matches. That'll teach those guys to tank up on root beer before stepping into the ring. Yeah, I'm sure it's a root beer they were all drinking back in the day. Beware of Goldust as a tag team partner. That's a tip. Why? Well, now I'm curious. Is he just a dick? Like, does he turn on you? NBA Jam 99. There was a game. Listen to this game. This list of games for Acclaim. For 98. Turok 2. Forsaken. NFL Quarterback Club 99. NBA Jam 99. Iggy's Wrecking Balls. I don't know what that is. I have no idea. Extreme G2. Shadow Man. Machines. WWF Warzone. All-Star Baseball 99, Supercross 98, Batman and Robin, Bloodshot, Bust a Move 2 and 3 came out in 98, South Park Classic, still own it, and NHL Breakaway 99. That's getting it. Shadow Man coming spring of 99. And Turok 2. So there's the things we can unlock. So I guess we're going to have to come back and I guess win this on normal with Mankind, but we're not doing that tonight. We've been going for an hour and a half. I would say it's time for bed. Thank you everyone for joining us today for Bash on the Buttons, this random episode. Drop it in and saying hello. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here where you're watching this video. We're back with WrestleMania X8 for our third and final week, and then it's WWF Super WrestleMania for Super Nintendo. In the meantime, this is Bash on the Buttons here on the Markout Moments Network. I'm TJ Stevens. We'll see you tomorrow night. And thank you for joining us right here on Bash on the Buttons.